With Sports Radio The Ticket, we'll never raise your subscription price because we're free, putting money in your pocket every time you listen. Sports Radio The Ticket.
J.L. Skinner, number 0 on the team. Senior out of San Diego, 6'4", 220, and he's a safety.
He looks, I mean, you know, he could also gain. He could also use when he gets in the NFL. When his season is done, and we talked. You and I talked about this yesterday, but you know, he's basically diving into 2 years that will change his life. And when he's done with this season and goes into his NFL, you know, preparation duties, they're going to add 10, 15 pounds to him because he still has that kind of frame where he can do that. Man, he's a good-looking beast.
Well, and he said that. And I apologize if I'm stealing the thunder, but looking at our list, I don't think you didn't take the audio, JP, where you talked about playing basketball, did you?
He gets into that a little bit later. Yes.
But I was going to say, you look at him, and he looks right now more like a basketball guy. He's leaner. Yes. He's 6'4". He looks like he could run up and down the floor and hit jumpers and go to the rim and dunk. And you know, he said he started out as more of a basketball guy and then switched to a football guy.
Yeah, did not like football. Definitely a basketball guy early on. And it took a couple of different times for him to dive into football and fall in love with football. And then he fell in love with football for 2 reasons. Why do we all love football? Hitting people and touchdowns. And he loved to hit people and he loved to score touchdowns. And he said, yeah, I can back off on this basketball thing, but he still plays a little hoop. He looks like a hooper, but he's one hell of a football player. And we had a chance to meet with him today, Bob.
I will start. And again, there's been a lot of hype coming into him about his game. And he kind of went over what his personal goals were for this season.
I don't really care about the hype too much. I'm not really having many personal goals as if I need to get this many tackles or this many interceptions. I don't really care for that. My goal is to win a championship, honestly. That's my whole mindset right now. I don't care about me personally. I'm trying to do everything for the team and make sure we're in the best position to go get us a ring. So I came here, wanted to leave a 4. I only have 1 right now, so I got to get 1 more.
There you go. That's what you want to hear from your superstar, don't you?
And here's the thing, and I told this. Remember Bobby Wagner played at Utah State, played for the Seahawks, and I think he's now with the Rams. He told me in media day when I was down there with him, what are your goals? And he says to me, I want to lead the Mountain West in tackles. And I looked at him when we were finished, and I said, no, you don't. And he goes, why? Why do I want to lead the league in tackles? And I said, because if your defense is really good, you're only getting 6 tackles if you get a 3 and out. Only 2 on each play. So the fewer plays the defense is on the field, the fewer tackles somebody can make.
If you go look at the NCAA stats over, let's say, the last 40 years, and you take the one guy at the top of the tackle list, I promise you he's playing on a losing football team. I promise you. It almost always works out that way.
So I have a feeling the better Boise State's defense is he may not get close to 92.
I would agree with that. Here's what J.L. Skinner said about how hard he's worked. Coaches say that he's a hard worker, that he takes care of all of his business, and this is it. This is what he had to say about that.
I've worked pretty hard. It's a certain level of confidence within me just based off of the work I've put in, but everyone on our team is putting a lot of work, so they actually install confidence in me. Just seeing them the way that they do things, making me feel confident in the way that I play also. So, I mean, everyone put in a lot of work this offseason. I don't really care about the accolades and stuff like that. Like, at the end of the day, listen, all that don't matter until you prove it. So that's how I feel about that.
How good can the secondary be?
We could be. I'm not gonna go out there. I'm gonna just say we could be very good, man. We could be very good. We have the pieces to be very good. We have the leadership to be very good. Our whole defense and our whole team has a chance to be very good. So if we continue on this path that we're going on right now, it should be a good start.
A few minutes into this interview, it was pretty obvious that and we knew this from talking to him last year. He's the most high-profile player on this team. And he's probably one of the most humbled part. And that's not always a combination you see, especially when it comes to these alpha male football players. So I asked him, where did this humbleness come from?
I say my mom. I came from a different background. Most people had the experience like me probably, but not these same experiences as me. So I dedicate that to my mom. She always installed that humble attitude in me, and that's the reason why I am here.
When you say different background, what does that mean?
Just the different type of struggles and obstacles I had to overcome in life. My mom is my rock. My mom is my everything. So she told me I'd always be humble and just remember, things aren't going to come to you. You got to go get the things yourself, and you always got to remain humble because once you start acting like you're that person. God will humble you. You know what I mean? He'll make you feel like you have things to work on. So me personally, I just always stay humble. Always know there's an aspect of my game to always improve and things like that.
How often do you talk to your mom, and who usually makes the phone call?
I talk to my mom as much as I can. We got a busy schedule right now, but she'll probably call me or I'll call her just whenever I got some free time. But I talk to my mom every day. I have to. You know, I don't really like the sense of not talking to her every day because if something happens, I wouldn't know. So I just like to hear from my mom.
Does she give you football advice or just life advice?
My mom gives me everything advice. My mom actually studied football because of me. You know, nobody in my family played football before me. It was just I was really the first person to start playing football. So once I got into that aspect, really want to be good at this game and be dedicated to it. My mom sat in the room and studied and watched football games for me. So just so she can learn something, she might not know a lot, but she gonna teach me little things like that. So just having her in my corner and just keeping me level-headed, that's what she mainly does for me. And she'll tell me if I did something wrong in the play and such like that. But just being a mom, man, I just love her.
I would have loved to have followed up. And again, different questions. We had 10 minutes with him. What's the football advice mom gave you? So do I have him on the coach's show, or the next time we get him, I'm going to ask that question.
Put that away, Bob.
But I think I remember whether it was in December at the end of the season or in January when it was announced that he was coming back. I think maybe it was towards the end of the regular season. And he said that, you know, when somebody said, well, who are going to be in your people to discuss this with? He mentioned mom first, mom second, mom third. And I think I remember mom saying she wanted him to get a degree, and it was important for her to have him come back.
Nice.
And then, of course, with a guy that's looking like he's headed to the NFL, he was asked if he's always dreamed of going to the NFL later in life.
At first, I was a basketball player. I didn't like football at first. I thought it was – I don't know. I just didn't like it. And then I tried flag, and I quit flag because I just didn't like that. I just stuck to basketball. And then I saw a flyer from my middle school that said something about football. And I said, hey, I'm bored right now. So I went to my mom, and she put me in it. And ever since there, it's been a run with it. So at first, I didn't really like football. But now it's grown on me where it's a sport I love. So, yes, sir.
You know, at one point, was there a dream while you're watching a game and said, I'd like to be that guy?
I didn't really – I grew up watching football, but not really necessarily games. Kind of watching players only. I didn't really watch NFL and things like that just because I was so much into basketball. I watched NBA. So I did watch a couple players and watch some things like that. I knew about Boise State, though, because I had the NCAA football game. So I did have that. But, you know, I wasn't really that big into watching football until I say about 2 years ago, maybe. I wasn't really that big into it just because I was a basketball guy. But
are you an NFL fan now? You watch?
Yeah, I watch NFL now. I got to. There's a lot of trades and stuff happening. So I'll be watching that stuff. This is going to be a good season. But before, I had to grow on me a little bit just because I love football. I love playing it, but I just don't really watch sports as much.
Teams or players you follow?
Teams or players. I mean, of course, I follow all the Boise State guys. Tom Brady. You know, I like winners. It's really it right now. I just watch everybody else. I like to study them, see what they do, see what other players do, even on offensive side of the ball, receivers and such like that. So I just really watch everything I can and just learn from it.
Did you gravitate to football from basketball because you liked it better or because you thought you were better? What was the reason that you decided to move to football?
I moved to football because it did start to grow on me a little bit. That was really it. I started playing from that middle school flyer, and then ever since then, I just had the little love to hit people. And then I got moved to running back, and I started scoring touchdowns. So I'm like, man, this stuff's pretty fun. And then from there on, it was just a runaway. But I played the end at first, and then that was it. So I just like hitting people and then just carried away from there. Yes, sir.
When he says the flyer and he likes hitting people, it sounded like he was a guy that gravitated to defense Prater pretty early.
Yeah, he loves hitting people, and he's really good at it right now.
Andy Avalos has talked about a Boise State standard. J.L. Skinner was asked about what he thinks of the Boise State standard.
What comes to mind is the past. You know, there's been a standard installed here way before I was here and way before all the players here. So that standard that we see, we watch videos on them all the time about the very dominant Boise State teams, and that really is the standard here. And that's just really that we feel as if we can get there as a team, and that's what we really want to do. So the standard is the standard. Everyone knows once you come here, there's a standard that you have to stay at and you have to perform at, and we all are ready for the task.
Do you guys feel like you met the standard last year, and whether you did or didn't, how is that fueling you?
It's fueling us last year. It's fueling us because we know how much we have in the tank this year. We know how good we can be. We know how great we can be, and that's just the attitude we're approaching everything we do every day, whether it's meetings, practices, walkthroughs, everything we're doing, we're approaching it with the attitude to be elite and to be great and I guess raise the standard even higher than it was before. So that's really our main goal right now and things we're attacking.
At some point, Boise State started stockpiling safeties like crazy. I mean, Skinner, you just heard from him. Even his backup, they love Tubner when he gets a chance to get in there and play. We're talking about Oladipo. We're talking about Rodney Robinson. Tyreek Jones, their safety room is so full, they moved over to the nickel position, which I think is a brilliant move. And they got a couple of backups in terms of Zion Washington as well. Here is what J.L. Skinner had to say about his two running buddies in the safety room, Shea Oladipo and Rodney Robinson.
I say energy, man. Both of those dudes are young dudes technically, but they bring a sense of energy and I say intelligence to the game to where they seem like they're older, especially with us older guys. Me and T. Jones, we kind of help them out and try and bring them along and show them things that we learned throughout our years. So those guys just energetic, passion, love for the game, everything about the football player that you want those guys have.
And Rodney Robinson, again, one of the teammates, he was asked what he thinks of playing with Rodney Robinson. And Robinson's one of the guys along Oladipo that's going to have a chance to be at safety. And he talked about how Robinson was a great guy to be there and play defensively.
Yeah, Oladipo and Robinson at the field safety, away from the short side of the field. Those two are going to compete for that job, and I think we're going to see a lot of both of them because both of them are very, very good.
And JP's got here what he said about Rodney.
Rodney's a character, yeah. Rodney's a very funny dude. That's my little dude. He really only like that tall, so that's really my little dude. I love playing with Rodney. He always brings a certain amount of energy to the group, always like a little Energizer bunny. So I love Rod. It's just fun playing with him. He's always laughing, joking, trying to make a play. So it's just very nice to be around him.
Does he have bad days? I mean, I feel like we've only been out there a couple of days, but
I ain't seen Rod have a bad day where he was like, I haven't seen Rod have a bad day. That's why everybody love him. He always come in here joking and stuff. So he always comes in here with a good attitude, cleans his heart, cleans his mind before he comes in here and is ready to work. So that's one thing I do love about Rod.
What do you think he can offer the defense, especially with Tyreek, moving down to nickel?
He offers a lot of things, man. Rodney's very quick, very twitchy, very athletic, very smart. So he uses all those aspects in his game. Really, when he plays, you'll be able to see it, how twitchy he is, how fast he is. So with him being able to do those type of things as a safety, it's just being able to cover more ground, make more plays. He has a very good knack for the ball. So just having him back there would also be a benefit for us.
Very confident, very energetic, very fun to talk to. J.L. Skinner. I hope he has a great year.
Yeah, me too. That'll be fun.
Get to Zamzows for the best garden fertilizer around. It's called Chicken Soup for the Soil. It works like tea. Mix it with water and soil and apply to your garden. And when you buy 64 ounces, they'll give you a 5-gallon bucket for free. It's available at all 13 area Zamzows. Want to have a chance to give away a couple of more tickets to a concert that's upcoming. And we're going to give away tickets to Daughtry. Daughtry is the next tickets up for grabs. And it is going to go to the 9th caller at 208-424-9300. It'll take place August 9th, which is next Tuesday at the Revolution Concert House. So caller number 9, a pair of tickets to Daughtry. Up next, update. JP is going to tell us a little more about the details for Boise State's long-term facilities plan. That's next on Sports Radio, The Ticket.
You're listening to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater and the Ballgame on Sports Radio 90.